What's going on, family? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be discussing one of my top movies of all time. This is in my top 20 movies. And it's Love and Basketball from back in 2000. I remember, man, this movie very vividly. I was 13 years old, and this brought me back because at 13 years old, this is when I got into my first relationship. Although young, you know, when you have that puppy love, you do feel like it's the end of the world when you guys unfortunately break up. And this was at 13, 14, this was like my first relationship that eventually, you know, didn't last. And this movie sometimes brings me back to that fact. Not that relationship particularly, but what it means to be young, in love, blinded sometimes. And certain relationships like this later on help you get back on track and help you realize what's more important in life, you know? And what's cool about this movie is that it shows the friendship and the bond before the actual physical and intellectual relationship they have later on. Love and Basketball starred Omar Epps, as you know, in many of the movies he was in, Juice, this movie predominantly, and the one and only Sanaa Lathan. This has always been my crush. Love Sanaa Lathan. And let's get right into it, man. Love and Basketball, thanks to the director in this movie, Gina Prince Bythewood. She had a very thoughtful script. This motion picture surpasses many other films, to me, of its kind. This movie's set in Los Angeles, which I've never been. About 1988, the movie takes place. Two college-bound basketball players have given their all for the sport through the years in high school. And now that they're seniors, they both trying to attain a scholarship to a predominantly high school. And they try to further and excel with their finesse in the game. And what had been first a casual relationship between the two high schoolers eventually intensifies into a romantic bond that soon awakens them to the fact that in any relationship, you have to prioritize your time between the one you love and the one thing you love doing, which in this case is basketball. The deeper, dramatic content of the story arises from the personal trials and tribulations that the two leads are faced with as they move on to college. How the trials affect their performances on the court and the difficulties that result in their separation takes its toll throughout the movie. You definitely see that. I love the way they take that direction. You see the acting and the capabilities of these actors and their side characters also, and you see how much they wanted to shine on screen and deliver this message appropriately. Gina, the director, takes us through a more deeply woven story than I had originally anticipated after rewatching and rewatching, as we follow the characters to the early peaks of adulthood, at which point they realize the reality of their undying love of each other, and for what matters is their rekindled love for the sport that drew them together. That's what basically keeps them bonded. And I loved this movie. This movie, to me, has an intelligent romantic comedy with a feminist touch. And I thought that was very unique, because in a typical basketball movie, you don't see that. Obviously, you're going to see it from a man's point of view, right? Because a lot of people think that it's a man's game. No, it's not. It's a game, you know, at the end of the day. I love that Monica, Sanaa Lathan's character, she was fierce about her love of basketball throughout the movie. You know, she had a quick temperament about her on the court. She knew exactly what she wanted. I kept waiting for her to punch out those idiot female high schoolers that she went to school with. Those classmates of hers were horrible, picking on her because she was a kind of a tomboy throughout the movie. But there's a nice contrast between Monica's independence and the traditional homemaker route that her mother took. The subplot about the troubled marriage of Quincy, Omar Epps' character's parents, was also well done. I've seen a lot of basketball movies, like Above the Rim, He Got Game. Those are the ones that come to mind. But this one, to me, is the better one pretty much of the group, because it tells a story from the viewpoint of a female athlete, and an African-American one, which I thought was unique. And at that, it's a it's a film that has a lot of heart. It's free of the fluff that permeates among other romantic dramas. That's why I'm not really a romantic drama kind of guy. But how can you find fault with this film? You know, great casting, great direction. Even Tyra Banks makes a cameo, which she, you know, plays a beautiful stewardess. And she has some good lines. Omar Epps, to me, he brought his trademark cockiness to the role, and it grows on you throughout the film. But most importantly, you know, he exhibits a depth and range that he didn't show before, you know. Sanaa Lathan, however, goes one step further and demonstrates not only her ability, but her intensity, both on and off the court. She's very impressive when it comes to the basketball side of the story. And her performance can be summed up as superb. You know, not just a fan of her acting, not only because she's so beautiful, but she really dives headfirst into this role. I remember at the time when they made the movie, a lot of people were talking about how it was going to be a relationship psychology kind of movie, a guy who treats a girl like trash from the beginning to end of the movie. And that wasn't really the case. You have to understand in this movie that you have a male lead in Omar Epps who, his character is growing up. You know, he's still pretty young. And of course, he's in college. Although he's in a relationship, he's being tempted by a lot of different things. Of course, it's not right at the end of the day. But so is she. She's tempted and a lot of different things. It basically speaks about, do you follow this entitled person who doesn't care about you? Wherever they go, they might dump you. But in this case, that's not really how it goes. They both love each other. Should you put your entire life on hold for a person who has no real feelings, right? But in this case, that's not the case. I love that the way the story is followed by a 20-year romance. From the time they're young to the time they're older, they're in each other's lives, right? From about the time they're 10 until the present. You know, this film is well directed, well written, well acted. Anyone looking for a sports movie is going to be disappointed. But if you're looking for a true love story with a basketball theme, then this is the movie for you. Basketball is mostly used as a MacGuffin to get the two protagonists together in this movie. And I thought it was cool. Unfortunately, by spending all the time on the relationship, the film gives us short parts that involve them as athletes, which I thought they could have did a better job in showing us their athletic abilities and gave us a small story on how great they actually were on the court. I think it would have been a little more compelling. We do see some of the pressures of the big-time college and professional basketball dilemmas and situations, but I feel like much more was left out. We see that NBA marriages and relationships in that manner are consistently jeopardized by groupies, by women who have hidden agendas. But we don't see the fact that they're also consistently jeopardized by long separations, you know, when the team is out on the road, and that affects families. We don't see some of the prejudices that keep it that way and the effects those prejudices have on women who play. The pressure to appear straight, or at least not too much of a bitch, so to speak, right? This is a great film. You know, I just watched it recently again, and it holds up well. Overlooking the athletic part of the story, the filmmakers, I believe, hit it out the ballpark with this. And I'll leave you with that. This movie, to me, will always be high on my list. 9 out of 10 easily. If you love 3-pointers, then this movie is definitely a 3-pointer. It's definitely a swish. Let me know what you think. As a movie watcher, the performances were fantastic. And this is not a black movie by any means. This is a movie. I hate when they use those terms, but it's a coming-of-age flick. Go check it out. Let me know what you think. If you liked this video, hit that like button. Hit that notification bell. Share this video. And if you want more content from me, subscribe. Happy V-Day. Till the next one.